The weekend rain has given hope to struggling Queensland farmers, with some areas enjoying their best falls in many months. Barcaldine had its wettest November day on record. But as Jonathan Lee discovered on a recent tour of Cloncurry, a lot more rain is desperately needed.
Cloncurry in the state's northwest looks and feels like a lunar landscape. This is prime pastoral land on the outskirts of town, but from the air, the extent of Queensland's drought is overwhelming.
The one as bad as this one was the early 1900s, the end of 1800s, early 1900s.
Dan Lynch owns 40,000 acres. Over the past 3 years, his herd has been nearly halved. The last time he saw good rain, Julia Gillard was Prime Minister.
It is going to take many in the industry 5, 6, 7 years to recover.
On Saturday, many regional communities enjoyed a decent downpour. Roma had 80 millimetres, Charleville around the same. Further north, Alpha was drenched with 107 mils. Nearby Barcaldine had 105, its highest ever November rainfall, while Cloncurry to the state's north had 23 mils. This video was taken at Saturday's races. But in 40-degree heat, moisture evaporates quickly. Australia isn't the only country in drought. Large swathes of America are also struggling. But there's a sense that when the rains finally arrive, there'll be boom times ahead. Optimism is growing. Meat prices have rebounded. The low Aussie dollar means the appetite from Asia, specifically China, has never been higher.
I'm suggesting 5 to 7 years, what I call sustainable prices.
A lot of the people that we speak to are up for the challenge. They've got plans in place, but it's certainly not going to be easy.
But every day is a day closer to rain, so it's all good.
On the land, they refuse to let the drought break them. Jonathan Lee, 10 Eyewitness News.
You're watching 10 Eyewitness News. Despite recent rainfall, outback families say they're still struggling to hold on as Queensland's drought continues to tighten its grip.
Some graziers have gone 3 years without decent rain. Their bank accounts still in the red after the 2011 live export ban. Jonathan Lee has this special report from Cloncurry.
Out here in northwest Queensland right now, farmers say the only thing that's growing is debt, and fast. Many farmers have their backs against the wall, victims of what they describe as a perfect storm, a storm that cruelly doesn't involve any rain. Peter Haken is a fourth-generation grazier, but this drought is worse than anything his forefathers faced. Most farmers out here have had to sell much of their herd just to survive.
13, 14 and 15, it's 15 has been marginally better, but it's a lot of people only just hanging in there.
Plenty have walked off the land, broke and exhausted. Convincing the next generation to stay on is difficult.
It is diabolical. We went into this drought on our knees. We've had high input costs for such a long time, and we've had pretty low cattle prices, and then we had the live export ban, which just meant that we had nothing in the reserves to survive.
At 9 years old, their son Angus is learning lessons city kids could never imagine.
Sometimes can be pretty harsh, I think.
I think it can be just as tough on the kids as the adults, and I do think the kids do pick up on it.
The Year 4 student is schooled at home under the guidance of a governess.
And keep going, make sure you got your full stop there.
She just teaches me all day, and then in school I go on the phone for an hour and talk to my other teacher.
It's hoped in time he and his brothers will take over the family's 230,000 acre property north of Cloncurry.
You probably do question, is this all worth it? But it's sort of a fleeting thought.
Out here, families are bred tougher than the land they toil. Describe Dad in 2 words for me.
Great man.
Jonathan Lee, 10 Eyewitness News.